the beat. Welcome back to the Bear Market Builders, episode 33. Man, we're getting up there in the numbers. How you doing, Vecta? How you doing, bro?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. I'm so happy to be here. I can tell you're having a good day. You told me earlier you're being very productive today, and so was I. It's been a pretty crazy day so far. So let's get into it.
Bro. Yeah. I was telling you about how, I woke up at 1. I made that really late GM tweet at like 3 today. But, we can go past that.
Yeah.
But
GM's whenever you want it to be honest.
GM is a GM, it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter. I've been feeling like an inspirational speaker recently too. I don't know if you've been looking at my GMs, but man, I'll be cooking on some of them. Some of them. But happy Tuesday, everyone. Happy Tuesday. We got 3 podcasts this week. We're starting off with a banger. We're here with the Vecta. And for all of you that don't know who Vecta is, Vecta, who are you, bro? What do you do?
Man, I'm a couple of things. So I've been a designer for about 10 years. Graphic designer, branding, like visual design, UI UX, motion design, most things that have to do with graphic design I do. I've been in Web3 since like mid 2021. Started on Ethereum, came to Solana and a little later 2021, and then I've just been mainly on Solana since. Working full time on Solana and in crypto since about mid 2021, about the same time I joined.
Man. So you kind of started off with a banger, huh? So let's kind of go in. You said that you've been a graphic designer for 10 years, bro. That's crazy. 10 years, isn't it like people say that like if you have 10 years of experience, you're pretty much like it's what do they say? They're like if it's like you have 10 years.
It's usually like 10, I think it's like 10,000 hours. Then you're an expert.
Oh, 10,000 hours. Okay.
Yeah. I think that's the saying. I think that's the saying. But I mean, 10 years doing anything, you should be pretty good.
Yeah, if I was
hopefully
say I spent 10 years gaming and I'm not good, I'm pretty mad, which I'm working on right now, guys. I'm getting up there. I'm gonna be honest. I'm getting up there, but you hope to be pretty good after 10 years. So, how did you find that? Was it something that you always liked during your childhood, or how'd you find it?
Well, when I was 17, I basically begged my mom for a gaming computer. And then I got one on like my 17th birthday, I think. And then like shortly after that, I started like doing stuff on Photoshop, like just making memes and fucking around, like photoshopping your friends' faces on other things, that kind of stuff. And then gradually got more and more into that. Just, doing just random stuff over like the next couple of years until eventually I quit my job and then started doing design full time, which at first was like very, very slow. I think the first year I made less than $10,000, and then the next year I made around like 30,000, and then the year after that I made like 60,000. So it was pretty good exponential growth. Over the course of like a couple of years. Yeah, it was all I did though for like those 3 years. Like I did not leave my house for like 3 years straight. I just grinded that out until I made it into like a livable income. But yeah, it was something I was passionate about. I found it fun. And people started to pay me like little bits, like $10, $20 here and there. And I was like, when you're just doing something you like doing, then people want to pay you for it. Then it gives you, the kind of push to be like, okay, let me make it more serious,
Yeah. When you find something like, bro, you should never start something that like, you're just looking for money. I'm gonna be honest. Like that's something that you just don't have fun with it. And it just, you burn out real quick. So if you're doing something and you're having fun with it, it's probably a lot better, or it is a lot better. Not probably, it is a lot better when you start making money and you just do it for fun. If you're making money while doing something and you're fun, you're just like, bro, what? That's easy. Vecta, when do you think a kid should get a gaming computer? I was having this conversation with someone yesterday. What do you think a good age is?
Oh God. I mean, I don't know. It depends from what perspective, right? Are you the kid in this scenario? Are you the kid or are you a parent? Because like I feel like if you're the parent, the answer is different than if you're the kid. Because if I'm a kid, I want a gaming computer like 11, bro. Give me that shit as soon as possible. But if I'm a parent, I don't know. Maybe like I'd probably wait till like maybe 15 or something.
Okay.
You
Okay.
know?
Yeah, because bro, I don't know. I was just thinking about it because yesterday it got brought up, and I was like, man, I've had like at least like a desktop since I was like 8. I'm gonna be honest. I started playing.
Yeah.
I started playing Roblox. On my little box computer, like this big. Yeah, bro. It was like a Dell laptop thing, and bro, I started playing Roblox on that. Then I got passed down my brother's PC when I was 11. Started playing on that, and then just not too long ago, earlier this year, I bought 2 more PCs for myself. So yeah, bro. Like I don't know. I was just thinking about it. I was like, huh. Maybe
Dang.
it's interesting. Maybe it's an
So
interesting.
you've 3 PCs right now?
I have one over there. I have one under my desk, and then I have one at my dad's house.
Oh, okay, I gotcha. All right, I was gonna say I thought you had them like in a huge desk setup where you had like 10 monitors. I was gonna be like, that's
Oh
kind
no
of
no no!
crazy.
I only have 3 monitors here, and then if I really wanted to, I could hook up my TV, but it's back there. But I'm like, maybe. I've thought about it. I've thought about running a really long HDMI cable all the way over there, but I haven't yet. So it is what it
It's
is.
true. It's true. You could always get the wireless ones. You can just
Oh, that's
connect it
true.
wirelessly.
That's
Yeah, and then
true.
you don't have to worry about the cable.
No, I want to do
But
that, or I want to get like a camera where, like, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna buy a camera soon, like a nice webcam, and put this webcam somewhere over here. So I don't know why, but I feel like that would be dope. Just have it up on the ceiling over there or
yeah,
over
yeah.
here.
You click,
I don't
get
know.
this. What is it? This
I have a stream deck right here. Yeah,
yeah, get the Stream Deck. Yeah, and then you can just switch to the
yeah,
back of your head.
yeah.
No, that is
I
nice.
just
That is
turn
nice.
around
If
and
you
like,
need exactly. No, I like that. If you need help looking for cameras, man, just let me know.
yeah, I'll actually talk to you.
I can definitely help you get set up on that.
Yeah, I'll talk to you, bro. Holy cow, it's crazy because I was just talking to Seb about. He was like, bro, if you need any help looking at new DJ decks or like a starter DJ deck, it's funny how I always talk about stuff that I like, and we bond on this podcast about stuff that we enjoy. Also, is that a cat behind you?
Yeah, my cat's he just sits on my coffee table.
What's his name?
His name's Gary.
Gary. Okay. Oh,
Yeah, he
black
can't hear
cat.
you, but he's hanging out. I could call him over here if you want me to.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Gary can go and enjoy himself on the coffee table. So, man, Vecta, what was your childhood like? What was your childhood like?
Oh man. Let's see. Well, I grew up in like a pretty decent house for the first couple years until I was about 8, and then my parents got divorced. And then I lived with my mom. We lived in like a really small apartment that was like kind of in the hood, hood adjacent, I would say. I remember one day I walked outside at like the crisp age of like 7 years old, and I found a bullet casing in the parking lot.
Ooh.
And I thought it was so cool. I took it home, and I like put it on a shelf, which like in retrospect is like very silly because like I don't know, maybe that could have been evidence for something. But I took it home. I was like, this is so cool. But yeah, I used to when I lived at the apartment, I had a buddy who lived there, and I would always go over to his house. We'd play like PS2 games. We had like pretty normal kind of like white kid growing up. We would like
Yeah.
ride our scooters around, play some video games. I probably got bullied in school a little bit. You know how it is.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that's something everyone goes through. I think that's something everyone goes through a little bit, and all of school, not just high school, but all of school. Man, so you're talking about gaming, bro. Like, what were some of your favorite games? Like top 3 games that you used to play?
Oh, God, on like the PS2, dude. I don't even. Let me think. Okay, so I remember I used to play like the Spider-Man games on the PS2.
Mm-hmm.
Those were fire. And you'd run up the walls, swing around New York City and stuff. There's like that one pizza mission in the Spider-Man games that's kind of iconic. I don't know if people know about that in the Spider-Man 2 game. I would also play like Splinter Cell. Dude, I owned a lot of PS2 games. I don't know how I got my mom to buy me so many PS2 games,
That's
but
valid.
I had a good amount. I had a good amount. Also, games used to be cheaper back in the day too. They were
Yeah.
like $20.
Yeah, they're not 60,
Or like
$70.
10. Yeah, they weren't that bad, especially at GameStop. They'd have so many used games all the time. But yeah, I would play like Splinter Cell. I'd play a Spider-Man game. Dude, I'm trying to even remember. I gave my PS2 to one of my childhood friends, so I don't even have the game sitting around anymore to like reminisce. But
Wasn't the
I used to
Shrek
play a
game?
lot.
Wasn't the Shrek
God of
game
War too. I'd play God of War on there.
Pretty sure there
That
was
was
a
fire.
Shrek PS2 game, but I might be
I'm
wrong.
pretty sure there was. Yeah, they used to make a lot of like weird movie,
Yeah, I was just
games
thinking
on like the
because
PS2, PS1.
I have the emulator, and I play Skate 3 every night. If I'm trying to get creative, I'll play Skate 3 on the emulator. But yeah, you can
That's
download
fire.
like PS2 games and stuff. And I know I used to have like Shrek on here. But yeah, bro, Skate 3 is my. I know that was PS3, but bro, Skate 3 is my game recently. So it's a vibe. It's
Oh
a vibe.
yeah, no, dude. Yeah, I used to play Skate 3 all the time, man. Used to play that shit all the time.
Bro, it's either, A, when you're in your thoughts at night, or B, I'm trying to get creative. So it's like, two really different things, but it gets the mind flowing, bro. It gets the mind flowing for sure.
It definitely does.
Are you still
Good
into
game.
gaming?
Yeah, I don't play as much anymore just because I don't really have the time.
Mm-hmm.
But usually like I'll try and one of my devs that I work with, I always play games with him. So
Nice.
we'll usually like play some Overwatch or some like Halo Infinite or something at night.
Oh,
Maybe like Apex, whatever.
oh, you're trying to get hacked on Apex, man. Apex is wild anymore, bro. Man,
I haven't played Apex in a minute, to be honest with you,
I
but
wouldn't. Game's pretty bad recently. I'm gonna be honest, but you know, hmm, I've been big on Valorant recently. Fortnite, obviously, I like making money in Fortnite, and then some other crypto games, bro. I'm gonna be honest, those have been some fun recently. So, do you play
yeah,
any?
I've
You
seen
don't play any
some
crypto
good
games?
I've seen some good crypto games. I know the people at DJ Legends as well.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and they put me onto that stuff. Yeah, no, I have the shirt too. I'm not wearing it today, but I have two of them,
W.
up in my closet. But yeah, no, they put me onto stuff. I used to watch them when we would go to like we went to like ETH Denver, and they would just be like playing games on their gaming laptops, like
Mm-hmm.
just in the living room to like 1 a.m. I'm
Yes.
just like, and they're like straight up crypto games too. I'd watch this man play for like 3 4 hours straight, and I
Yep.
would watch him, and it was like this looks actually really fun. So I actually do want to start playing more crypto games. I've seen a couple that look really interesting. I do like hero shooters, and I cannot remember the name of it, but I
Nion.
saw like one or two. I think it might have been Nyan. There may have been another one as well, but I saw like
Mm-hmm.
one or two hero shooters. And I really like hero shooters, even if they're jank, and I'm not saying that one is, but even if they are,
Yeah.
I'm down. I'm down for hero shooter. I don't know why. I just
Yeah,
like
if you
them.
need any game suggestions or anything, I got you, bro. I got you. Just hit me up and I got you. Man, so we're playing Aurora tonight. I don't know if you've played it or if you've even saw Aurora, but it's dope. It's like a Pokemon type game.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I know all about Aurora, man. I know all about Aurora. I have not played it, but I do know about Aurora. I mean, it came out. I think maybe even I think right when I started, or like right when I came to Solana and like minted my first thing in
Hmm.
2021, like within probably a month or two, I think Aurora came out. Maybe even before, to be honest.
Yeah, Aurora's been around a long time, a long time.
Yeah.
So it's been pretty crazy. So okay, gaming we're done with. Okay, so what other hobbies? You said scootering, like
No, that was as a kid. That was as a kid.
Oh, okay. So no,
Yeah.
I'm thinking of like hobbies you had back then, so that I could talk to you about. But just outside, it seems like. Are you still an outside person?
Yeah, me and my friends just last night we went me and my friends down here in Houston went fishing.
Dang, that's a vibe.
But yeah, yeah. No, I love fishing. I mean, I don't really do anything. Most of the time I don't catch shit, but it's just you just hang out there, drink like a couple beers,
I'm kind
get
of.
bitten by mosquitoes and vibe with the boys.
I can't touch the fish. I'm gonna be honest. Yeah,
It's all good.
I'm really.
Best thing I've ever caught while fishing was a puffer fish. I caught a puffer
Dang,
fish one
that's
time.
dope. What, Mrs. Puff?
That
Shout
was
out,
pretty
Mrs.
cool, yeah. Yeah,
Bro.
shout out Mrs. Puff, yeah. That's the
Nah,
coolest thing I ever caught.
I'm just kind of airing myself out right now. But yeah, I don't know. I can't touch the fish. Like when it's slimy, bro, and then it like wiggles, and I'm like, oh no, oh no,
Can you
no.
eat fish? Like
Um.
if somebody like at a restaurant.
Oh, I'm not like a crazy like I'm like oh I'm craving fish. But yeah, if it's like fish, I'm like yeah, sure, I'll eat it. But
Okay, okay.
not touching it, bro. Not touching it. No. Actually, I've
Yeah,
never had
I
sushi.
feel you. I feel you.
Are you a big sushi guy? I've never had sushi.
I do like sushi. Yeah, I'm a big fan of sushi.
I've never had it. I want to try it though. I've been told that like it's good, but
Sushi tastes a lot better than like fish. If you're just talking about like fish you get at a restaurant or like fish your parents cook for you, whatever. Like sushi's way better than just like a tilapia. It's not even comparable. I don't know. I mean, some people might not agree with that, but I think most people like sushi, even though it's fish. And I don't think even a lot of people that like sushi don't even like other fish.
Yeah,
They just like sushi.
for sure. Man, okay. So outdoor, you like hiking? That's been a big thing on this podcast that people like to do hiking and stuff like that.
Yeah, I live in Texas now though, so there's not really too many places to hike. You got to go really far. Texas is so big, and like where I live in Houston it's kind of near the beach. It's very flat. Like there's not exactly
Yeah,
mountains or anything fun to see. You might be hiking through a flat forest, which is pretty boring.
yeah.
Um, so I used to hike more when I lived in North Carolina. Me and my
Oh
friend would go
shoot.
camping and hiking.
Yeah, I'm in PA.
Um,
I'm in PA. So, you know,
oh yeah, tons of hiking there. I have family in PA. Yeah,
yeah.
you guys have huge mountains.
Crazy mountains. There's a lot of beautiful views too. But I can't wait to drive, bro. I can't wait to drive and be able to go places like that. Cause, bro, I want to do some IRL content too, like some crazy like vlogs or something, bro. That's the plan
Oh
when I can
yeah.
drive. So, like 8 months? No. 9 months till I get my permit, chat. Woo! Okay,
Woo.
but
Hell yeah.
yeah, we're getting up there, huh? Getting pretty old, pretty ancient.
Yeah.
We're
You're
reaching
gonna
unk
start
status.
balding, bro.
Yeah, I know. Reaching unk
Nah,
status.
you got like another 10 years at least
Woo!
until the male pattern baldness starts kicking in.
Woo! Okay, so you kind of found Web3. What? I've been here so 3 years. No, 2 years. So 3 years ago.
Yeah.
The math is not math, and I'm gonna be honest. But
It's something like that. 3 years
I've
ish.
been out of school too long. Man, okay. So, 3 years. I've been here since December of 2021, I'm pretty sure is when I joined. Something like that. So, what did you like about it? What drew you here?
Man, that's such a hard question. I don't even know what really got me into it in the first place. I don't remember what, like, if like a friend, I'm assuming a friend probably told me about it, but I don't remember which friend. But I saw like some of the Beeple stuff. I was watching a video with Beeple back in like probably even earlier, probably in like 2020. And I was like, okay, NFTs is cool. But then I didn't really hear too much about it for like a year. And then I started to hear some stuff about like, Bored Apes and things. Oh, I do remember actually. I just remembered. So what really got me into it was I was doing full-time design, like I said, right?
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, the niche kind of I used to work in. Now I work in Web3. I used to work in like sneaker botting.
Mm-hmm.
So I would design UIs for sneaker bots, like make like help cook groups with things, like do all the stuff that kind of surrounded sneaker botting. Was a pretty big niche at the time. But I had one of the clients that would come to me like regularly, and he was like, "Yo, I need you to make this website for an NFT." And I was like, "Okay, I've heard of that like once. I don't know what it is." So he sent me the Cool Cats website, and he was like, "I want something like this, blah blah blah." And so then I was like, as I do, right? I'm like doing my flashbang.
Holy cow.
I was doing my research, and I was looking at Cool Cat stuff, and I was like, "Oh, these look really cool, blah blah." And I actually copied and copied and pasted it and made one my PFP. And the guy was like, "Did you buy that?" Like question mark question mark, because they were like probably $5,000 or more at the time.
Yeah.
And I was like, "No, was I supposed to?" And he like clowned on me for that. But yeah, that's kind of what got me into it, because he came to me with like, and to be honest, thinking back on this guy may have been a rugger, but I didn't know what that was. But he had me make like 3 or 4 different like NFT project websites for him.
Nice.
So,
Yeah,
not great for whoever may have bought those,
pretty good for you though. Pretty good for you.
but good for me. I made money, and I also had no idea. I also had no idea that was even like bad. I was just like, it's like, to me that was just like a guy making 4 businesses. Like I didn't know. You know what I mean? But yeah, that guy kind of got me into it, I think, a lot, because then I actually started to pay more attention to it, because that's when I saw a lot of the people from sneaker botting, like almost all those people, sneaker botting kept gradually getting harder, right? Because the Foot Locker and Nike and all these things, they kept putting in more like rigorous anti-bot measures, basically to prevent people from like botting sneakers. So it was preventing people from making money. And a lot of those people started to move over to crypto kind of fast. Like within only like a couple months, I saw a lot of the people I knew there pretty much putting most of their time and resources into like learning crypto and doing stuff in crypto and like minting rather than doing sneaker botting because it's so much easier. Like you didn't need a $10,000 bot, right? It was just first come, first serve like then too. It's just like you show up and you click the mint button fast and you get the mint. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There was no like whitelist or anything. And then it's also a digital, product or whatever, right? You don't have to wait for something to ship to you and then,
Pay for
go and
shipping
sell it.
stuff like that.
Yeah, pay for shipping, all that stuff. It's instant. You can get it and then immediately sell it. So like it made so much sense. It was like exactly what those people already were doing, just easier.
Yeah.
So that's what really brought my attention to it because I could see there was like a big shift.
So, man, bro, did you ever think that you were like gonna work full time here?
Yeah, I think so. I could see that like there was money flowing through, right, pretty quickly. Like when I had some of these people that I knew pretty quickly shift over, and I could see they were spending money. And in like the sneaker botting niche, I was one of the biggest designers there. Like I was probably in like the top 3. I would say. I think at the time, this was a while ago, so I think the other 2 were probably better than me, but I think I was in the top 3. And so I had like a good amount of exposure to those people, and so I could see that a lot of them were moving over, and I was like, well, if these guys are moving like all their money and resources over here, then there must be something going on worth that effort, right? So
Yeah.
I thought it was like, okay, well, either I shift over to this while the other niche kind of dies and goes away, or like, what do I do? Like go get a job. So I kind of had to do it. Like it wasn't really much of an option. I had to make it work.
For sure, bro. Man, that's the best too. Like, adapting. You have to adapt to different situations, and bro, when you do, a lot of the time you succeed. The most. So it's pretty dope to hear that, bro. Man, pretty dope.
Yeah, appreciate it.
So, man, have you always not always liked it, but have you enjoyed working in Web3?
Yeah, for the most part. Sometimes it can be fairly stressful, right? With sneaker botting, for the couple years I was working in that, it was pretty steady, right? Like, unless there was a huge economic swing, it didn't really affect work very much.
Yeah.
But especially, I don't really do freelance too much anymore, but when I was doing freelance full time for like the first year and a half or something of being in Web3, like you could really tell that, the amount of work that comes in is pretty much dependent on the price of Bitcoin and the price of Solana, right?
Yeah.
Like if the price is down a lot, then people are not spending money. Like when Solana was at $8, you could put a gun to a guy's head, he would not pay you.
Yeah.
Like they were not spending money under any circumstances then. So you can definitely see that it's a lot more dependent on shorter swings rather than like bigger economic movement.
Yeah.
Really affects the workflow.
So, bro, when did you
But
get?
other than that, I like it. My bad.
Yeah. Nah, bro, you're good, bro. This is a podcast. We're supposed to go back and forth. Supposed to.
Yeah, you're right.
But, man. So when did you get like your first full-time Web3 job?
Well, I did freelance full time for the first while. I was doing. I had a design agency with sneaker botting, like I said. And then I moved that over to Web3, and I had a few other designers and developers that I was working with there that I created. And so I was doing that for the first while because that's what really helped me go from like that 10 to 30 to 60K was doing that, and like getting work for some of my other people too, right?
Yeah.
Was very helpful because they have skills I don't have, and a lot of people need more things than just the stuff I can offer. So I would, package everything up and be able to help out my people as well, and then make a little bit extra just off of those bigger deals. And so pretty much immediately I was starting to make money in Web3. But to be honest, for like the first couple months, I remember when it was just minting was just so like minting NFTs was just so hot. I stopped designing for like probably like a couple months at least, just because I was just no brain, not a single thought going through my head, just minting everything that popped up that like was told to me and just making money. So I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna focus on this for a while until it stops working.
Yeah. For sure.
And it worked pretty well for the first like couple months, and then things like whitelist started to be created, and other things that kind of slowed it down and made it a little bit harder to do that like as a full-time job sort of
Hmm.
thing.
Yeah, for sure. So then, after that, did you start getting hired like for bigger gigs and, kind of getting your name out there, I guess?
Yeah, yeah. So, I would do pretty decent sized deals, like somewhere usually in the range of like 1,000 to 5, 6, 7,000, something like
Hmm.
that. Branding packages, UI UX on like probably I would say like medium sized applications, maybe like 5 to 15 page applications, which is like a decent sized application.
Hmm.
Things like that, doing like motion design, so like promotional videos, and things. And yeah, so I was just doing that for a while, and it worked well. I mean, it got the bills were paid. I had fun doing it. I was learning about like a new niche, and it was teaching me a lot of like how a lot of these other people that are in Web3 think when they're like building their businesses, and it gave me a lot of insight
Hmm.
for whenever I build my own. So very
For
helpful.
sure. For sure. Oh, you said build your own. Ooh. So, you want to kind of get into that a little bit? What you cooking up recently, bro? You got
Well,
anything
yeah,
cooking recently?
I've been working on a bunch of stuff. So we let's see. Well, first off, I have my design agency, so
Hmm.
that I've had since 20, well, the whole time, but I ended up merging my old one with my one of my co-founders to make a new design agency in 2022. So that's the one we currently have. So we have that. That's been going pretty good. Been running design agencies for like 6, 7 years, something like that. And then I also am building. I'm building a product that I cannot name yet. So that's going really good though. It's like probably 70% done. Um, and it's something that will be Solana specific, and nobody else has built before.
Ooh.
The only thing that exists like it is completely. It's basically you have to pay a company to do it for you. And we're building an automated version of it. I can't give too many details on that yet because we haven't started marketing, and I don't want people to front run me. But and then I would also get yelled at by my co-founder. But that's one thing I'm doing. Another thing I'm doing is with Bankman.
Hmm.
We're building a really cool tool that's called Watchdog, and it kind of sucks because both of these are both in like don't say what they are state,
Okay.
which is really unfortunate because I wish at least one of them I could say what it is, but they would yell at me. But yeah, so we're building Watchdog. That's been going really good. When I work at like a lot of these companies, I do a lot of the heavy lifting in terms of like usually do or at least manage the entire design process of the application. And like the first company I mentioned, that's probably a 50, 60 page application, right? So it probably took me 3, 4 months to build.
Hmm.
And then also do a lot of the like documentation and everything as well for like early startup stuff. So like writing, business plan, marketing plan, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, so both of those are kind of in that process right now where there's back end infrastructure going, and the design is completely finished on one. It's halfway finished on the other. It's halfway finished on Watchdog specifically, and the devs are just deving away, getting what they can on the back end while we get the design finished, and then I'm gonna be starting on all the documentation for it. But yeah, so it's going pretty good. We're putting a lot of time and effort. I'm putting a lot of time and effort into both of those, and hopefully it will pay off.
Dang, bro. So you're cooking up. You're cooking up, bro. I haven't heard Bankman in a minute, bro. How are they doing, bro? I miss Ryder and Titan, bro. Titan unfollowed me though. Titan unfollowed me.
Yeah, I'll tell Titan to follow you back, bro. I'll tell him to follow you back. I don't know. I sent them in our like we have like a group chat, right? On Discord where we talk like with the team.
Hmm.
And I sent Titan I sent the whole team that we were doing this podcast. He didn't say anything bad about you, so I don't know why. Maybe he just forgot or something. Maybe he was just like unfollowing people. I have no idea. I'll tell him to follow you back though. I'll tell him to follow you back.
Oh, that's okay. It's okay. Now he did like the tweet though. I did appreciate that one. He did like the tweet about me and you doing the pod. So
I don't
WJ.
think Titan has anything negative to say about you. He probably just was
No, I like
unfollowing
Titan. He's
people or
cool.
something.
He's cool.
I love Titan. A lot of people don't like Titan. A lot of people say, he's this or that, but I can tell you, like, that man came into starting a project with a lot of money, and he has not taken any of it for himself. And I've said that like 100 times. People get mad because floor price and whatnot, but like he has taken no money. All of the money that was made from the mint is in a treasury that he manages, that we have like access to. We look at, and like it all just gets put towards building things. Most of the core team members, besides the developers are the only ones that actually get paid. Like on a regular salary basis. The rest of the team does not get paid on salary. We only get paid if like we make something that makes a lot of money.
Yeah.
So like if we finish building this product and it makes a lot of money, then we'll make a lot of money. But for right now, we just try to keep the runway. And we all decided that. We just want to do it to keep the runway as long as possible, pretty much, to try and give us as many like chances to fail before, hopefully we inevitably succeed. But just trying to make sure that it's keeping it as possible, keeping it as open as possible, make sure that we can make it happen.
Yeah, for sure, bro. No, Bankman's a vibe, bro. I like the art. I've always liked the art. I like the mullets. The mullets are cool.
Yeah, that was Ryder's request. You could obviously tell it was his request because he was the only team member with the mullet.
Bro, I love Ryder.
And it looks like almost exactly like his too, which is very funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I love the boys. They work really hard. We have a pretty good sized team. I think we have 8 or 9 devs that work full time on building Watchdog. And yeah, it's just hard, man. When you make a startup like that, it costs so much capital to build like good applications, especially up to like par that it can actually be like released to the market and it doesn't look like a demo. It's just very difficult. If you make, even a couple mistakes, it can cost you a lot of money in the long run. So it's just a process of managing everything and making sure hopefully it goes smoothly whenever we actually finish it and bring it to market. People like it.
For sure. Yeah. So I got the next question. I know what I'm going to talk about. I told you this in a comment, responded to you, and you might know what it is. So we keep talking about how you keep working in Web3, and what's some advice for some people that do want to get into Web3, working full time into Web3 or in Web3?
I love this question. Okay, so I think Web3 makes this super obvious even more than Web2, even though it's very prevalent in Web2 as well. But networking is so massive. I think a lot of people in Web2 think they can get away with not networking and just doing it all themselves. But in Web3, it is the breaking point, right? If you don't have a good network around you, it makes it so hard. The ecosystem, there's so much money in the ecosystem, but it's so small. It's very tight knit. That when people are like looking for someone, they often just go to a friend, right? In Web 2, they might go Google, for example, with me, like, design agency or whatever they're going to Google, right? They might Google, Houston-based design agency or whatever, right? In which case, you don't really need the networking as much. You can kind of get away with it. But Web 3, people aren't really doing that. They aren't using, they aren't using Google search. They aren't using Twitter search to find, whatever service or product you may offer, right? They're going to look to friends for recommendations. So when you're looking to go into it full time, just make sure you're putting a lot of time and effort into your networking and into your friend groups. I would say that's probably the biggest thing. As far as the rest, I would say understanding the ecosystem is really, really important, right? You don't want to and I kind of did this in 2021. I kind of just jumped headfirst into it. You probably don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But in 2021, I think a lot of people were jumping headfirst into it. There was only a very small amount of like people that were there for, that much longer than I was. Very small handful of people compared to nowadays. I mean, you can maybe 1 in every 200 people you talk to have been there since before 2021, especially in like NFTs. Yeah, probably don't jump straight headfirst into it. Learn a lot about the ecosystem. Learn about what people like, what they don't like. If you're going to go make a service or product and you're doing like Twitter ads, you probably don't know too much about how it works because crypto people hate ads.
Mm-hmm.
They will not buy anything. They will not give any money to anyone who's doing a paid advertisement. It's very rare. Maybe if like Coinbase does one, they'll let it slide. But for your like startup or your service you're offering, like no, they're not going to click on it.
No.
So yeah, just learning about the ins and outs and how people think and whatnot is very important. Having that good network, and then making sure you just build up your skills. Right, even though it's a pretty small ecosystem, there's a lot of competition. And especially, money and diversity breeds competition, right? And there's a lot of money, there's a lot of diversity in crypto. So I'm not saying you have to come in there being like the absolute best at whatever it is you're doing, but you should at least be like competent in it. And you can learn along the way, but it definitely helps. Like if you're trying to go into it and immediately make it like a full-time job, then definitely having more competence in whatever the skill or whatever you're trying to do definitely helps a lot. But
Yeah.
it's also a very helpful place. Like there's tons of people in Web3 that like you can start at pretty much nothing, have no skill, and there's groups and there's people that will help you along the way and help you figure it out and give you tips and even send you work and things, send you whatever you need.
Yeah, for sure. Man, so I did like the first part about networking, bro. And there's some quote like, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together, or something like that. And I think, bro, that's like,
Yeah. I think you nailed that. I think you nailed it.
dang, man, I'm on it today. Okay.
Yeah,
But-
you are.
But we're locked in. So, yeah, bro, I think that it's so true though. Like, it takes, bro. You can go fast, but you can't go really far with yourself. But if you can go really far with others. I don't really know where I was going with that. I'm gonna be honest, but it's okay. It's okay. Hey, if you are here, go make sure you're following Vecta. Make sure you're following me. And if you're on Twitch, make sure you drop that follow right now and go sub to the YouTube. So I heard there's some banger podcasts, like Vecta coming up, and we got some bangers coming out. Last week, next week, this week, bro. Come on, follow YouTube. Let's go. So. Man,
week after that,
and the week
month after that,
and the week after that, and the
forever,
and the year after that, and bro, I'm 15. I got so much time ahead of me. Hopefully, please God, But, bro, I'm not stopping. All brakes, no gas. That's what I kind of said last night. So we're locked in recently. We're locked in. This is my summer. So Vecta, bro, man. So, how did you kind of learn your skills? Was it more just did you watch YouTube? Yeah, like how can people learn as much as you have, in your 10 years?
Well, yeah, I mean it depends on whatever the skill is. I think it might change a little bit, but for the most part, I mean YouTube and just actively learning, right? Like, working with your hands in the sense of like don't just watch a video and then be like, okay, I learned, I'm gonna get off. You know what I mean? You want to watch the video, go along with the video, try to do that thing from memory. Try and just experiment and have fun. And then like what I did a lot, like I would learn a lot from the YouTube videos, but I would also just try and make things. And I'm very stubborn. I like to try and figure stuff out on my own. And if I'll spend 30 minutes trying to figure out where a fucking button is, and if I just cannot figure it out, then I'll Google it. But I will try my best to figure it out on my own. I'm very stubborn in that way. So I would, just try and take the things I would learn from the YouTube videos. And if I couldn't remember, how to do a specific thing, then I would just try for 30 minutes straight until eventually I would figure out a way to make it happen. So yeah, just kind of being stubborn, not giving up on yourself, watching, YouTube videos and just putting in the hours pretty much.
For sure. Yes, practice makes perfect, or practice makes, isn't that? Yeah, it's practice makes perfect.
Yeah, no, yeah, you got it.
Someone else said something before. I forget. Practice makes something. I don't know. It wasn't. They were like, oh yeah, no one's perfect. Blah blah blah. Shut up. But it is what it is. You can get really good at something if you practice. So put the work in, and you'll be good. You'll be good. Okay. Vecta, we're gonna get a little. Not personal. That's okay. Yeah, we're just gonna go deep in. Pause. No Diddy. So who's someone that inspires you, Vecta?
Oh gosh, man, that's such a hard question. That's such a hard question. I would honestly say probably my dad. My dad works really really hard. He still is a construction worker. I helped him build two different houses. And I was like, maybe I think for the first one I was maybe like 12, and the second one I was like 14. And I'm a skinny fucker. I'm not that helpful when it kind of comes to building a house. I can lift like maybe one piece of maybe one piece of plywood. My dad would put up all the 2x4s, do all the walls, so do like all the framing on the entire house by himself. He built like a thing to like put all the plywood up, and then he'd go on the roof and then like pull up the plywood like by himself. Man worked
Yeah.
super hard. Literally can build a house by himself. I remember he would like do that for 12 hours a day, then come home and like mow the grass, right?
Yeah.
Just like no time to no time to enjoy himself, just working nonstop, just being like a super hard worker. And that kind of what inspired me, just because I could see like at firsthand, living with him and whatnot, how well he was able to work and how much he just didn't complain.
Yeah.
No matter how hard the work was, right? And he'd be out in South Carolina, 105 degrees for 9 hours straight, not a single complaint, right? Like at the end of it, he'd be like, all right, let's go get some food, and that'd be that. So that definitely inspired me a lot. He would always tell me when I was a kid, because I was a little whiny ass kid, and I would complain. I'd be like, I don't want to cut the grass, I don't want to go do the chores. And he'd be like, and he would tell me, just go do them, it's fine. Like you have to do it. If it's what you have to do, you have to go do it. You have to get used to doing this, because life is a lot harder than cutting grass. Basically what he would tell to me. So, he inspired me a ton, for sure.
For sure, bro. Man, that's so inspirational. It's great when you have someone like that in life, bro, because you can learn a lot from your parents. Some, good things. Some things you're like, oh yeah, I don't want to do that, but you can learn a lot. So even just not just parents, everyone in your life, bro. Make sure you pay attention to the people in your life, because they can teach you a lot of things, especially when they're older. A lot of people have wisdom when they're older, so listen to them. Oh, okay. I usually keep this question for the end, Vecta, but
Okay.
what's a quote that you live by? What's the quote of the day?
Oh God. Man, I don't know. I don't really live too much by quotes. I just fucking show up and work.
That's bullish.
So
I'm gonna be honest.
maybe
That's
the quote
bullish.
maybe the quote is just show up and work. I don't know. Like
I
I
like
wake
that
up
one.
every day, brush my teeth, do my morning routine, straight down to the computer, I start working. I do that for several hours. I go make some food. I go back to working. Do that for another couple hours. Then maybe I'll hop off, watch a movie or something like that. But I try to get at least a good, at minimum, on a minimum day, like 7 hours of work in. Even on like Saturday is supposed to be my day off, and even then I still work like at least like 3 or 4 hours. Um, but yeah, I get anxiety if I don't work. So
I feel that.
which you probably do too. I think most people, if you're gonna work really hard, especially when nobody's there, it's not a job, right? Nobody's telling you to show up and go do that, right? For you especially, like, there's nobody telling you like, hey, you have to go do this podcast right now, right?
Yeah.
You can skip it if you want to. But you're telling yourself to do that, and I think a lot of people that have that sort of mentality usually have some sort of future anxiety of if they don't do these things now, then their future won't be as good as they want it to be. So they have to do it. They have to lock in
Bro,
for as long as it takes until they can
literally
guarantee
me,
that
bro.
future.
Like, man,
Yeah, no, I can see it.
I've been doing this since I was 12, man. Like, bro, like every time I don't work, or like I'll miss a stream, or I'll miss something, bro, and I'm like, man, like, bro, that could have been like something big. And I don't know. I think that if I put the work in now, while everyone's out, in college partying and all that, like, bro, I'll be able to like live my life, like, what I want to be doing. I won't be wasting my time. I'll be able to, have a business, or I'll be able to do this, for a living, bro. And that's like the goal, like just be able to find something now that I can use for the rest of my life to get income, and just travel around the world. That's a dream of mine. Just travel around the world, see the world, especially when I'm young, because I don't want to be going around
Yeah.
the world when I'm, 50, 60 with a hurt,
Yeah.
with a broken,
Too
like
old to walk up the steps.
yeah, like a hurt
at
back.
at the Coliseum or something. You
Yeah,
go to Rome,
bro.
you can't even go to the Coliseum. You
I
can't
want to
walk.
go, like you said, the Coliseum. I want to go to the beach, and I'll be able to like surf or skimboard or something. Like, bro, I just want to, see everywhere, and then also I just want to be able to take care of my family, especially while I'm young too. Like, see my family be able to be good when I'm young. So, yeah, that's, got to show up every day. Show up and work. That's the quote of the day for you guys. Show up and work. Let's get it. Oh, man. So you really don't have any quotes that you like hang up or anything?
Nah, man. I
Bro,
mean,
I
I
feel like
don't know.
everyone.
My memory is so bad with like things that aren't directly related to like the work I'm doing. Like I forget so much unless it just has to do with like my brain is all of my brain, all the memory in my brain is all allocated towards work.
That's valid.
Towards like the things that are most important for me to like be productive.
I feel like
Anything else, like I feel like it just kind of gets like erased. It gets put in the trash bin.
it's just funny because like bro, you're the first one. You're the first one on this podcast that has never had a quote. It's so funny, but that's bullish though,
It
bro.
is interesting.
Like yours that said show up and work, bro. It's you need to show up and work, but no, it's funny because I have quotes hanging up all the time. I try to switch them, but yeah,
Oh no, quotes are good, man. Like it really just comes down to whatever works for you, right? Like if you think quotes help you, then use quotes, and if you think they don't, then don't. I don't think there's any, one right or
that's
wrong
true.
way to do things. There's all of those, YouTubers and people that will tell you like, oh, you need to like go take a cold shower every morning. You need to go journal your thoughts. You need to do all
Hmm.
these things. And then there's other people that are like, I made $10 million this year and I didn't do fucking any of that.
Yeah,
And like I don't even make my bed. My house probably stinks, but I still made $10 million. So and I'm not saying you should live that way, by the way. That's kind of gross. But hey, if it works for you,
yeah,
if it
bro.
works for you, it works for you, right? Like I don't think there's no right or wrong way. Just whatever works.
Yeah, I saw that. I heard that before on some podcast. It was like someone said that, oh, you should like when you get up in the morning, you should look in the mirror and say something to yourself. I forget what he was saying,
Yeah,
but
words of affirmation. That's what that's
yeah,
called.
and it was like, and the guy was like, I've never done that, and I made like, $6 million last year. It's like, huh, okay, so like, there literally is
Yeah.
something different that works for everyone, and you just gotta find that thing.
Yeah, for sure. It really just depends. You just have to trial and error until you figure out how to force yourself to do the things that you want yourself to do, right?
Hmm.
You want to get up every day and you want to work your ass off. You want to make a lot of money, but if you find that difficult to do, then obviously something's going wrong. You got to change something until you can
Hmm.
crack the code per se and figure out how to make it happen.
Yep, for sure.
Because it can be very difficult. It can be very hard to keep inspiration up for multiple. Sometimes it could be years right before you find
Yeah.
success, and it can be very very difficult for a lot of people to keep up that momentum of like showing up every single day and working and working and working and failing and working
Yeah,
until eventually they hit it.
when you don't see A, like a bunch of progress, or B, you're not making money, it gets really hard. And man, I just was listening to another podcast like 2 nights ago or one night ago, and it was like that's like the hardest thing, and people usually quit like literally right before they're about to start making money. They'll like stop and go back just because like they just can't do it anymore. They don't have the motivation to do it anymore. Bro, you just gotta like we were talking about in the beginning, bro. When you're doing something that you love and you can do for free and you start making money, that's the best thing because you would just do it for free. So you got to find those things.
Yeah, for sure. There's this, I don't remember what it's called, but there's like a graph of how much you think you know versus how much you know of any sort of specific skill or whatever it is. Where at the beginning you feel like you're learning a lot and you feel like you're getting really good, and then eventually that like tapers down, and then you feel like you're not that good because now you're looking at people that are actually very good at it,
Hmm.
and then eventually that will build back up, and you will actually be very good, and how good you think you are will actually align with how good you are. A lot of
Yeah.
people get like a very quick inflated sense of how good they think they are at any one thing. And then after a little while, they'll kind of get checked back into reality and be like, oh, there are people that have done this for 10, 20 years, and I've been doing it for 3 months. I'm obviously not going to be as good at it as them.
Hmm.
And then they have to slowly build that up over time. And when you're in that dip, that kind of trough, it can be very, very difficult to like want to continue to try and get better because it makes you feel very shitty. Like you
Hmm.
don't feel good when you look at everyone around you. You're like, all these people are so much better than me, and I'm not feeling like I'm getting progress.
Yeah,
Um, Very difficult.
for sure. Man, that was good. That was kind of deep. I'm gonna be honest. So speaking of learning, what's been one of the biggest and best lessons that you've learned in your life?
Oh man. Um, Kind of almost goes back to the networking thing. Probably one of the biggest lessons I learned was when I was younger. I was making a couple different startups. I started making like a clothing brand. I had made like a sticker company. I did like a couple of these really small businesses, right? Because I didn't have a lot of money when I
Mm-hmm.
was a lot younger. So I didn't have a lot of capital to put into them. So I had to do something that was mostly reliant on my design skills and didn't require a lot of capital. And one of the things I realized while doing that was that it's very, very difficult to, and this is more of a business thing than it is, I guess, like a content thing.
Mm-hmm.
But even then, it's also important with content as well. It's very difficult to find success when you're doing everything by yourself. And we discussed that earlier, but that took a while for me to kind of understand because for a long time I felt like I didn't have other people to rely on when it came to like doing what are my business ideas, right? What are
Mm-hmm.
my ideas that I think will make money? It's very difficult to convince people, especially when you're nobody and you have nothing to show for it yet. That it's worth all of their time investment. But what I've learned is it's worth, even though that part sucks and it's difficult to find those people, it's worth going out of your way to try and find them because it'll help speed up the process and it'll give you someone to like bounce ideas off of and get second opinions on, and it'll save you a lot of time in the long run. So that was one of the big things that I learned.
For sure, man. So, what's some advice for people that I guess don't know how to network and are kind of scared to start? What are some advice, or what's some advice for those people?
Um, Man, that's a good question because I honestly I'm pretty big introvert, so
Mm-hmm.
I've run into the same kind of
Me
problem.
too.
Um, oh, interesting, interesting. I would have taken you for like a huge extrovert for sure.
Bro, no, I'm like the biggest introvert ever, like the biggest introvert in my family.
Interesting, interesting. Yeah, I'm decent in like these sorts of scenarios, like one-on-one scenarios. I'm worse in like at like parties and things. I'm definitely a
Oh,
lot
see,
more like
I haven't
I feel a lot
experienced
more
that yet,
awkward in parties.
but yeah, bro.
Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, I guess you'll see. You'll see. You'll
But
see. There's so
yeah,
many
I
crypto
know.
parties. The crypto parties are kind of crazy. Um, Not like there's anything too crazy going on, but it's just so many people and everyone's like clicked up in there. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like everyone's in groups of 5 people. It can be very awkward to try and like break through that
Mm-hmm.
and just go up to people and talk. But um, honestly, what I would say helps me the most is to go into the scenario with like a good headspace and try and be consistent with it. I think that's another big thing because I've kind of broken that headspace and been able to go and be more extroverted and network more. But then like if I don't do it for an extended period of time, then you'll slowly kind of go back into that. You'll kind of revert
Mm-hmm.
back and then you have to be for like re-exposed to it. So basically, you need like expose. I can't say the word exposure therapy. There we go, exposure therapy. But it needs to be consistent exposure therapy over a long time. That way, after a while, it just feels extremely natural, and you can't really shift back to being like a super introvert that's like scared to talk. Right.
For sure.
Um, I think that's pretty much it, to be honest, in
Yeah,
my opinion.
bro. I don't know. I feel like my advice would probably be just like you kind of got to just do it to get good at it and you got to get
Yeah.
comfortable like you said. And now it's just like I think too many people think that people just care all about what they say. And it's like, bro, if you're just going to reach out, like no one really thinks too much about it. Like they're not going to like clown you for reaching out or they're not going to just, make fun of you just because you reached out. I think too many people
Yeah.
think that. And like, bro, it's not how it is. You just got to, reach out and if they say no, they say no. So, it happens.
Yeah, I think you make it a good point there, and it's that a lot of people have too many of their own problems, too many of their own things to deal with. They're not really worried about you. Like they're not going to like be like, oh, what a weird guy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They're just gonna go back to thinking about what they were already thinking about before. It's just like a little blip for them. So don't feel too bad if you were a little bit awkward or whatever the case. It's really not a big deal. I think that's a difficult. I think even when you say it to people, it's like difficult for them to adjust to
Believe.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and believe.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
feel like a lot
but
of people.
it is very true. Like nobody really cares if like if you're like hang out with your friend and wait for them to do something awkward and like analyze it and think about how little you care, how
Yeah.
little you cared about that. If you see just a random person in public, or somebody walk up to you and say something, look at that and analyze the scenario and then switch the positions and realize how little that you cared about, if it was awkward. You're over it in like 5 seconds. It's not a big deal.
Bro, I saw this. Yo, Luca got banned or suspended. Nice. No, that's bad. Free Luca. But so yeah,
Yeah.
I was just watching this video. It was a short film today that I saw on Twitter, and it was about stop. You got to stop living in high school, and it was about how people are scared to post stuff on like their Instagram or their Facebook and stuff like that because they're too worried about people thinking about, or like they think that people are gonna like make fun of them for what they post. And this one was about
Mm.
music, and it was like, oh, I don't want to post this song because I had a lot of emotion in it. It was an emotional song, but he didn't want to post it, and it was like it was all about like how you just gotta post it because those people won't care. Like those people aren't gonna just like stop their day just to think about this song and think about how bad it is. They're not gonna do that. So you just gotta pull the trigger and just go for things.
Yeah, for sure. 100%. Yeah, most people aren't too worried about what you're doing. And the thing is, if they are, then, it doesn't really matter
Yeah.
at the end of the day. If they look at you and they're like, oh, this person's weird, like, why does their opinion really doesn't matter? It only is valid if you make it valid, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's, you should go out there and just be yourself. Otherwise, you're just living in like a bubble of stress and anxiety your whole life. You kind of have to, at some point, break that and just do the thing you want to do, and see what comes of it, because your life will probably be better once you can get past that initial like anxiety or fear of posting, fear of like publicly speaking, fear of networking,
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is.
Yeah, bro. I talk to kids about this all the time at school, and it's like if I would have been scared to go out and do all this, I could have just stopped this podcast, when the first person said something about it, or when someone was watching it in class, just to be a jerk. It happens, and bro, I just let it go through. I let it go right through my head because, bro, I know this is gonna be successful. I know that I'm gonna be successful one day. So it's just like, I do this for fun. I do this because I love it. I love it. And I see the future in it. And I talk to people, like I said, I talk to kids all the time about what's kind of your dream. What do you have right now that you're doing that you just are kind of scared to show everyone? And they always kind of open up to me, and it's kind of dope to see. But it just sucks for people that are kind of scared to go out and show their true talents and true passion.
Yeah, 100%. And another thing a lot of people don't think about, right, is even if, like, let's say, for example, right, even if you want to stop doing the podcast, it's not doing as well as you want, whatever the case, there's so many adjacent skills that you gain from doing most things in life, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
with design, there's so many adjacent skills. With this, I mean, you're getting speaking skills. You could do public speaking. You could, speak at conferences. You could, there's so many different adjacent things you could do, that, going out like this and doing the podcast opens up for you, that even if whatever you're doing, and I'm not saying this will fail obviously, but like just for anybody, right, like
Yeah.
whatever you're doing, if you feel like it's not going good, or you're worried about failure, like there's only real failure is like completely giving up on yourself. It's
Mm-hmm.
perfectly okay to like pivot, right, and be like, oh, A isn't working, let's go to B. I've done that maybe 100 times.
Yeah.
So, it's not a big deal. It happens. You have to get very used to failure, especially, and a lot of crypto people should know this, risk to reward, right?
Mm-hmm.
Failure is just a risk, and the reward is, whatever your goal is. And you just have to be pretty used to it, because it's going to happen. There's no, unless you're super rich, or you have some sort of crazy scenario where you just have guaranteed success, right? Your dad's the president or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're gonna fail. Like, it just happens to everybody. There's no way you can avoid it.
For sure. Man, Vecta, how has it been an hour already, bro? It's crazy,
I
man.
don't know. It's a good chat, brother. It was a good chat.
It
I
was,
have this
man.
really bright, you can kind of see my hand blocking. I have a
Mhm.
really bright, like, studio light
Yeah.
that I had on for this, and it's really hot.
Yeah, bro, I'm
Like,
feeling
it's
it too.
heating up
I'm
my
like, I'm
room.
like, woo! So, do you have anything to end it off, man? Do you have anything that you want to leave the people that are watching with right now?
Oh man, should I maybe something inspirational? I don't know. I feel like I've done enough inspirational
Nah,
stuff.
bro, if you want to do an
this
inspirational,
podcast.
if you want to just, I don't know, bro, you can do whatever you want. This is like your final closing statements, bro.
I would say, I would probably say, yeah, don't give up on yourself. Just keep working towards whatever your goals are. They will eventually be attainable. I've had, years and years of like failure and failure and failure, and it really sucked. But you just have to stick through it, figure out what you're good at, make it happen, do your networking, and just figure out where the mistakes lie, fix them, and over time, it slowly becomes more and more of a guarantee. There's only so many times you can lose. Like, think about it in like video game sense. Only so many times you can lose a match before you eventually win one, right? Like, you have to at some point.
True.
Even if you don't have hands and you're playing with your feet, you'll figure out how to play the game with your feet.
True. I like that. That's a good like final statement, bro. You just gotta adapt, and bro, you're gonna win sometime. You're gonna win sometime in life. So, man, W closing statement, W podcast all around, man. So if you are watching on YouTube, I appreciate you for sticking around the whole time. Vecta's links will be down in the description, the description, man. And if you're watching on Twitter, I appreciate you guys a ton. Thank you, Janix. Thank you, D'Angelo. Thank you, Schaefer. Thank you, Cosmic. Everyone else that showed up, appreciate you guys. We're like 450 people right now, so it's dope.
Sheesh.
And
love it.
Yeah, bro. This will be up on YouTube tomorrow probably, and I'll see you guys on Thursday for the next pod.